Today's Branson Show on Bott Radio Network is sponsored by The Legend of Kung Fu, direct from China. This new production tells the story of a young boy's journey from monastery to Kung Fu master. The Legend of Kung Fu, performing at Branson's White House Theater, features aerial ballet, music, dance, martial arts action, and was featured at the 2008 Olympics opening ceremony. Their website is kungfubranson.com, and their phone number is 417-335-2396. Stay tuned for the Bott Radio Network Branson Radio Show, featuring interviews with Branson entertainers, attraction owners, theater managers, dignitaries, and other newsmakers. Here's our program host, Monna Stafford.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is a beautiful weekend in Branson, and this is the weekend before the big weekend, Memorial Weekend. So thank you for tuning in. I want to be sure and thank this month's Saturday show sponsor, and that is the Broadway-style show over at the White House Theater, and it's called The Legend of Kung Fu. There are sponsors for this whole month. Their website is kungfubranson.com. Folks, I think you will love today's broadcast. We have two very special guests. These are some of my very best friends in the whole world, and that is Mr. Shoji Tabuchi and his daughter Christina. And we're going to talk all about the Shoji Tabuchi show, and it's now in its 22nd year in Branson. We'll also talk to several members of the audience who were present at the theater when we did our remote interview at the theater, courtesy of the Branson Travel Host magazine. Let's go now to our interview with Shoji and Christina Tabuchi. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. And you are not going to believe where I am. We are in the incredible personal office at the beautiful theater of Shoji Tabuchi. And we are here with Mr. Shoji and also his daughter Christina. Hi, guys.
Hello. I'm so glad you're here.
Well, this is just fantastic that you would take the time to let Bott Radio Network come in and talk to you. You know, everybody is talking about the new show this year. It is absolutely fantastic. I know you've got some new things going on, and we're going to talk about that. But first of all, Mr. Tabuchi, I have to ask you, how many holes-in-one on the golf course have you had in your lifetime?
Well, I had two hole-in-one. Two hole-in-ones here in Branson. Can you
I know.
At the Thousands Hills Golf Course.
Yes. Both of them on the same course.
Yes. Same course, but different hole.
Yes. Okay.
Number 2 and then number 5.
Well, now, was it like a year apart? I'm trying to remember.
3-4 years apart.
Oh, that far apart.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to get that golf part in there because, you know, we're going to talk about the show, and I know that your second love, well, third love. Your first love is Dorothy. Your second love is music. Your third love has to be golf. Well, maybe Christina's third love. Okay. But listen, golf is way up there, isn't it?
Golf is incredibly up there.
Well, I remember when you started playing golf, and you were pretty frustrated in the beginning. But
I know, it was.
But I guess you're like really good now. I mean, 2 holes in 1.
Well, pretty good.
Pretty good. Pretty good. You don't want to brag, though.
No.
Now, was it Mr. Gene Littner, your music director? Was he the one that introduced you to golf?
Yes.
I thought so.
He's the one.
I thought so. So now that we've talked about golf, we kind of got that out of the way. I have to tell you something, sir. You are really, I cannot imagine Branson without Shoji Tabuchi. I mean, it wouldn't be Branson without you.
Thank you.
It really wouldn't. I mean, you are just an icon and a staple here, and I don't see that ever changing. You know, there's shows come in and shows go, and there's something new all the time, and we certainly want to give them their due. But how many years is it now?
22.
22 years in this theater.
22 years.
Yes.
That's incredible. 22 years. Well, it doesn't seem like 22 years.
I know. Time just fly by.
It sure does.
You can look at Christina.
I know. Here she
was
is.
Still sucking the suckers.
Yes. Well, now, Christina, let's talk about your career, and then we'll get back to Dad here. But 6 years old, I believe. 6 years old. Was that your first time on stage?
I believe I was 5 or 6.
5 or 6, okay.
And then when I started performing at Country Music World, Bill and Janet Daly, where Dad worked. I could get done with school and walk in the building, and he'd be like, "Do you want to perform tonight?" And they just gave me an amazing opportunity. And then, of course, when we got our own show, of course, I was.
So they handed you the microphone, and you were a natural. That's
guess,
the story I hear.
I guess that's what I'm told. That's what I'm told.
Well, now I think I know the answer to this, but I want you to tell us. What was the first song that you did on stage at Bill Daly's Country Music World?
The very first song that I ever sang in front of an audience was Loretta Lynn's "You Ain't Woman Enough to Take My Man."
That's right.
That was, I mean, I can remember around the house singing Barbara Mandrell songs and Billie Jean by Michael Jackson.
Oh, sure.
But on stage, it was Loretta Lynn.
Yes. And you were just, 5 or 6.
Yes, ma'am.
I've seen a photograph of you at that time on stage, just as a little doll with these big blue eyes and blonde hair. And, of course, I wasn't there, but I can imagine you singing that song and probably just bringing the house down.
I was so shy, though.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I didn't quite understand why it was so funny that I was singing this song.
You were serious.
I was just singing a song, but the
audience
they got
loved
a kick out of it.
And here you are, a grown-up lady, and on stage every night with Dad. How does that feel, Christina? I mean, how does it feel to after all these years? Is it still exciting to you?
Yes, ma'am. I love it. I moved to Nashville, and I'm definitely involved there, but I am most certainly involved here, and I absolutely love working with my family and getting to perform with them, and I love it.
Well, it doesn't get any better than that, Chrissy, in this business. To be under the shelter and under the wings, so to speak, because really show business, not just in Branson, but in the United States and I guess worldwide, can be pretty rough.
It can.
I'm
very lucky to have a place that I can perform every night, and we have great audiences. And
yes.
It's a blessing.
Do you have people come up to you and say that they saw you when you were little?
Yes, ma'am. They all the time will tell me that they saw us either in the old theater that we used to have the very first year, or that they've seen me grow up throughout the years.
Yes.
And so that's really cool to see them coming back year after year. And
well, that means a lot to people, I think. I think it means a lot to people to see you mature in your career. And so they're probably just wanting to share that with you, when they come up to you. Well, tell me some of your other duties in the show. I know you're on stage a lot, but what else do you do backstage?
They have me running, that's for sure.
So Mom, Dorothy, who is the producer par excellence, I might add, she's an absolute genius. She lets you do some things then, extra.
She does. It started off with, she had numbers in the show that were specific to her when she was here. And then when she would have to be out due to business, she would have me do them for her, which was an incredible honor. I did not see that coming, and she said, I want you to do it. And I was like, of course. And then
So it was like an apprentice.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And I've gotten to learn from two of the best.
Yes, you have.
The next year, I ended up taking over the vocal department.
Okay.
And so...
That's a lot of responsibility.
Yes, ma'am. And then...
Especially when you have to report to the producer.
Yes, producer/mom.
Yes.
So I can still get spankings.
Yes.
But, and then a couple years after that, in addition to performing and doing stuff in the show, I also took over co-dance captain with Norvin Breek, who is the other co-dance captain. So... and they've got me involved in everything from wardrobe now to backstage to you name it, and they've got me involved in it. So
well, I think that and Mr. Tabuchi, you tell me, but that is a way of keeping the continuity going. Right. I mean, when you've got family and it's your life.
And then Chrissy, it is hard to find the people to really care and understanding, the inside of the business.
And the way you want it done.
Yes.
Right.
Right. And then Christina, grew up with us, so she has seen all the
right
inner going of the business.
So she doesn't really have to guess at how you would want it. I mean, you're her daughter. She's your daughter. So
yes.
Right. Well, that's what I meant by continuity, because when you've got Christina here, I mean, most of the time, Chrissy, you probably don't even have to ask. I mean, you just know what Dad wants and Mom wants.
Ma'am.
Well, I have to tell you this, the people coming to Branson, we have, and I'll have to share this with you, and you probably already know, but there's like the big 5 or 6 in Branson. And it's those shows that have been here these many years, like yourself. And those are the ones that are on everybody's list that they want to come and see. And so yours is famous for production. And I can remember way back there when Dorothy Tabuchi was the first one. She was the first one for everything. Let's name some of those first things that happened in Branson that she was actually the inventor of.
Oh, she brought actually
the set
pieces, actual big set pieces on the stage, and then laser lighting.
Oh yes,
the big laser lighting system, and then also flying system, fly through the air, and also lots of confetti. And then we are at that time we were the nation's largest indoor
pyrotechnics. That's right.
Yes, user of pyrotech.
Fireworks in the Ozarks.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those fireworks, crackers.
We are the first one bringing actually Dorothy brought in all those aspects.
Does she ever sleep?
No, ma'am.
Yeah. I mean, she's always looking for the newest, latest thing. And it's because she was doing research and knew what was happening in other places.
Yes.
And so she's a very creative person. I mean, she's always thinking, what can we do next? And so really in Branson, some of the shows that you see that are now using that, and that's fine. But the Shoji Tabuchi show was the first.
We can take credit on that.
Yes, you can. You can write that down. So that makes you really stand out in Branson as far as being innovators. The other thing that came to my mind was just the level of course, the music, sir. I mean, because you're fantastic on the violin.
Thank you.
But in addition to that, I mean, you're surrounded by just loveliness. I mean, magnificent sets and the latest in everything. But I wanted to just mention costuming. What I see a lot in entertainment, and I'm not just talking about Branson because I travel and see other places, is a lot of what I would just call off-the-rack costuming, where you take your crew into the mall and you buy their costumes. That's not what Dorothy Tabuchi has done, is it, Chrissy?
No, ma'am.
Yeah.
She is definitely carefully, whether it's our choreographer or our lighting designer, the costume designer, she seeks it out and she works directly with them to get what she feels we need for the show.
So these costumes, I mean, they're not what we call built in Branson.
No, ma'am.
No.
They're from the West Coast.
Yes, ma'am.
And they are custom made for each entertainer.
Yes,
Each
ma'am.
everyone.
Especially over the years, like all of Dad's jackets are hand beaded, and they weigh. I mean, you wouldn't think you sit and you watch a show and you think, oh, that's a pretty jacket. Literally that weighs 10, 15 pounds. I mean, they're all the dresses, all of Mom's fabulous beaded costumes, all hand beaded. The same thing with mine.